Mhm.
Well, hi everyone, and good evening, and greetings, and welcome to everyone. I'm Meg Smith, and we are here in Lowell, Massachusetts, or at least I am, and a couple of my other folks. But we also have friends joining us from Texas, from Baltimore, where Poe is laid to rest, from North Carolina, from parts throughout New England, and near and far. And I'm so glad that you can all be with me this evening. And of course, the reason that we're all gathered, as we have been gathering in past years, is for a celebration of Edgar Allan Poe, who was born January 19th, 1809 in Boston, Massachusetts, not far from here at all. And so he is a very special connection because he is truly a Boston native, although he spent much of his life in traveling to other parts. The reason we celebrate him here in Lowell, Massachusetts, is because he came to visit our city 3 times in 1848 and 1849, and he's a special part of the city's heritage. And so what we're doing, as we've done in past years, is we're going to have a relay style reading of the poem The Raven, and we have wonderful readers who I'm so blessed and honored and humbled that you all are gathered here with me this evening. And if you all will bear with me, because I would like to let everybody know who all is going to be reading with us this evening. And if I grab the document that tells us that, then I can inform all the folks at home, as it were. So, and by the way, anyone, if I do mispronounce your name, please correct me immediately, and I will do it correctly for the record. So we have Chad Anctil, who is coming in from Rhode Island, as is Tony Balone. Travis Bruce should be joining us hopefully soon. He's coming in from Baltimore. We have Claire Conroy. You up there in Maine, Claire? Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, Sanford, Maine, in southern Maine.
Oh, excellent. Okay. And also in the not too far from here, not too far from Lowell at all, we have Janet Egan and Nancy Jasper. From the great state of Texas, we have Derek Austin Johnston. From the great state of Massachusetts in the Plum Island, we have Janet Catherine Johnston and John Stephen Hatch. They're all great states. Also in Massachusetts, Matthew Kraunelis, another longtime friend of mine. I'm so glad you could join us tonight, Matthew. We have Mark Lipman, who's in Haverhill right now. That's a city just up the road a piece, as we say. Hassan Melehy, who's down in North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Is that correct, Hassan?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being with us. And Frank Raymond Michaels should be joining us shortly. Also, direct from Baltimore itself is Jackie Oldham. Jackie, thank you again so much for joining us once more. And also from the great state of Texas is Juan Manuel Perez. Thank you and welcome back, Juan. So great to see you. And
que viva Poe.
Okay, exactly. Yeah, viva Poe, siempre, siempre. Órale, as Juan likes to say. And then there's myself, Meg Smith. I am the host, and I'm also the creator of the Poe in Lowell festival, which we had our first in-person festival in October. It went amazingly well. I'm very happy and grateful for that. And so we decided, why not just have an in-person birthday party as well as the virtual one that we're having now. So with that, we're going to get right to the main event of the evening. And I am going to make the attempt to do a document share so that you can all see the photo. Every year for this reading, we do dedicate the reading in the memory of a beloved poet and friend who we honor for what they have shared with us, including in some cases, people who've actually read here before. And if I can, bear with me a moment, if I can find the share option, I'll be able to show you his picture as well. More. Let's see, we have notes, we have here we go. Maybe it's this thing that says share screen. Let's give that a whirl. All right. Okay. All right, so we're dedicating our reading this evening to Douglas Bishop. Douglas Bishop was an educator. He taught high school here in Lowell, Massachusetts for a long time. He was a poet. He was also, bear with me, the screen sharing is paused for some reason, and no, I'm sure we did not ask them to do that. But in any case, we honor his memory, we honor his friendship, and he is much missed. And so before we get into the reading of The Raven, which is a relay style reading, I'm going to give a brief invocation in Douglas's memory. And this is from Edgar Allan Poe's poem To One in Paradise, in memory of Douglas Bishop. All my days are trances, and all my nightly dreams are where thy gray eye glances, and where thy footstep gleams, and what ethereal trances, by what eternal streams. That's from Edgar Allan Poe's To One Paradise, dedicated with love to the memory of Douglas Bishop. And now with that, we are going to jump right into the reading of The Raven. This is, as I mentioned, relay style reading. And the way we do it is most of the poets are listed in alphabetical order. There are a few who are grouped together because they're working from the same screen or workstation. So we are going to start and we are going to go through the wonderful dark journey that is The Raven, starting right now with Chad. Take it away, as they say, Chad.
Thank you, Meg. As in previous years, I am actually reading from my 1927 copy of the works of Poe. So almost a century old, this book. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as if someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this, and nothing more."
Ah, distinctly I remember. It was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here for evermore.
And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more."
Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or Madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarcely was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more."
Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming, dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore?" This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore!" Merely this and nothing more.
Can you see me? Back into the chamber, turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again, I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. Surely, said I, surely that is something at my
Window lattice.
do it again. At my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Be still my heart a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more.
Open here, I flung the shutter when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mane of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more.
Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore.
Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. We cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as nevermore.
But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, nevermore.
Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his song one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of nevermore.
But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling. Straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking, fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, nevermore.
This I sat engaging and guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er, she shall press, nevermore.
Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore.
Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, whether tempest sent or whether tempest tossed there here ashore, desolate, yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted. Tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore, quoth the raven, nevermore.
Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore. It tell his soul with sorrow laden, if with the distant Aden it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word or sign or parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out of my heart and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Potless, just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon that is dreaming. And the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul, from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted evermore. The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Thank you all so much for reading, and thank you all so much for listening. And I always, and I say this every year because every year it's true, in listening to all of the voices that we have assembled here in our sacred space, are each to me like a constellation of light that shines, because every voice is bringing your own heart and your own experience of the poem and of the world to every verse. And I think, my friends, that is a really amazing and rare thing that we have done together. And I hope we can continue to do for many years evermore. Now, I'm sorry?
Just said evermore.
Yes, evermore. Yep.
Evermore.
Evermore. Yes.
Evermore.
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 Evermore. We are like the ravens, and we are like a clutch of ravens, and once it starts, nobody stops talking. It reminds me, indulge me for sort of a tangential moment. I went to Ireland, which is my mother's country, as I think a lot of folks here know. I went there in February because I knew her time was going to be short, and I wanted to send her some photos and videos of our family and places that have been important to her upbringing, and places that are important to Irish heritage. And I went to Tara, which is a sort of a magical place. It is really the meeting place of all of Ireland's sacred traditions, pagan, Christian, all of them. And one thing I noticed was happening every place I went in Ireland, whether it was Tara, and I was kind of lying on the hill looking up, and I realized everywhere in Ireland were these halos of crows all gathered around. Yeah, and this would happen at Tara. It happened in Dublin. It happened over my aunt's house. And the crow is the emblem of an important goddess in Irish mythology, the Morrigan. And every time I saw them gather, and indeed I realized it was not only crows but other different corvids, and they all just were exactly like, they would just all start talking, and they would all like have this little chorus that they were all imparting together, and sometimes it sounded like a prayer, sometimes a joke. One time I woke up, I heard them screeching at some seagulls in Dublin, like they were telling them to, to shut up, as we would say in America. So always go forth, and may you always have the blessings of the Morrigan's crown of crows and ravens wherever you go. I just wanted to mention, I've put into the chat, this is a completely discretionary and free will thing. Anyone who would like to make a donation that supports the readers and gives them just something of appreciation for everybody spending their time together, there's absolutely no pressure. This is a completely free will thing. We're all here of our own free will. So what I would like to do is next is have a couple of giveaways. And I thought I actually came up with some like trivia questions this time. And it's going to be open to anyone, reader or audience member. And I'll show you some of the prizes. Now, I hope that you can see this. This is the official, can you all see this? This is the official Poe in Lowell t-shirt from our very first festival in October 2024. I'm doing my best to be like an influencer. I watch the Gothic influencers, and I promise you the writing is not backwards. And I have sizes from small to extra, extra large. So whoever wins can let me know what size they prefer. So here is the question. We were talking a little while ago before we started reading The Raven about Poe coming to Lowell and the fact that he had actually written to his mother-in-law, and they were sort of considering moving here. She actually did move here for a time before she died and shortly after he died. Now, he knew his mother-in-law by a nickname, and there's no, I know it doesn't bear saying, there's no Googling, there's no like lifeline like they have on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. What was the nickname that Poe's mother-in-law was so most often known by? And you can put it in the chat too if you don't want to call it out. Now, I'll give you a hint. Her given name, her name proper was Maria Clem, but she had a nickname. What was the nickname?
Clemmy.
Sorry?
Was it Clemmy?
Clemmy? No, that's sort of close, but sorry, no.
Figured I'd guess.
It was something funny. It
was something funny.
Muddy?
Yes, muddy, yes. Yes.
I knew it was
wins.
It was like I don't know why I remember that, but yeah, it was muddy.
Yes, that indeed. All right. So Chad is the winner, and I'm writing it in the chat for anybody who might need that sensory access. Muddy was the nickname of Poe's mother-in-law. Indeed. All right. So you can let me know, Chad. You can send me a quick message with the proper mailing address and the size you would like. So congratulations. Thou hast won a Poe Lowell t-shirt. Excellent. Yay, Chad. All right. Okay. So I think I'm gonna give away maybe one other t-shirt, because I have some giveaways planned out, but I do sometimes just make them up as well. So here's a couple of Lowell questions. Gonna kind of challenge both those of us who live in Lowell, are familiar with Lowell, and maybe people for whom Lowell is maybe somewhat new. So we know, of course, Edgar Allan Poe visited Lowell 3 times, sort of the basis for our celebrations. Now, during that time in the mid-19th century, as we were mentioning, there were actually a number of authors, famous authors on tour, including folks who came from overseas. And in 1842, a very famous novelist,
Charles Dickens.
You're gonna make me disqualify people. Y'all can't jump in like that. No.
Oh, you can't do that. Oh, you can't do that.
I had typed D in the chat. That's as far as I got.
Okay. No, y'all gotta let me fit. The rule is you have to let me finish this. Right. So, so what I'm gonna do to that end is I'm just gonna pull a name at random now from a box, and whoever's name is pulled is getting the T-shirt. But yes, indeed, it was, for the record, in 1842, Charles Dickens. I'd like to know what sort of quaint libation is being imbibed over there, because it's not fair that I'm sitting over here only listening to the merriment and I have only this water.
We're drinking plain water.
Yeah.
Tap water.
I'm Irish, as I said, but we have other waters. Sorry?
I said, but what's in the tap? So.
Right.
That's another webinar. So, as I was starting to say, Charles Dickens in 1842 does visit Lowell, Mass, on his American tour. And so, yeah, we're famous for a lot of things, that now being one of them. And he was quite taken with Lowell, and Lowell was taken with him. And a very good friend of mine, who's also now passed on, he was a National Park Ranger named Ray Harding, did a wonderful one-man show of Charles Dickens. So we just give a little shout out of spirit, both to Dickens and to Ray Harding. All right, so there's the two T-shirts gone. So I think, as you know, I have a short fiction collection. Again, it's not backwards. It's not written backwards. Letters are not backwards. All right, and so this one is going to the first person who can say, this is another Lowell question. Jack Kerouac is Lowell's most famous son. He was born here. He's the author, of course, of On the Road. And he also actually wrote several novels based on his upbringing in Lowell. And one of them actually begins with a line that mentions the street where Jack Kerouac was born and where that house still stands. That's the house on blank. What is the street that Jack Kerouac's first home is on here in Lowell?
Moody Street?
No, but that's a very good guess. Moody Street is important to Jack, but that is not the street where he was born.
I tried.
Did try.
East Merrimack.
No, he was not born on East Merrimack, sort of part of the main thoroughfare through Lowell. But no, it was not East Merrimack.
Is it Lipman?
Sorry, who said that? Sorry.
The guy from Texas?
Yes, the guy from Texas. Yes. The guy not anywhere near Lowell or anywhere near our state.
I don't know why I remember that.
Lupine, that is correct. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Was from that's the house on Lupine Avenue. That is the one indeed. Yes, Jack Kerouac se nació en la calle Lupine.
Calle Lupin. Okay.
All right. Yay. Juan Perez, a signed copy, I should add, is on its way to you. That's great. Congratulations. Excellent. All right. So I think maybe I'm going to add in a final and somewhat random giveaway prize. And the prize will be a copy. This is a copy of one of my poetry collections, Dear Deepest Ghosts. And also, I do want to mention that during the Poe and Lowell Festival, we received a number of amazing raffle prizes for 2 raffles we held. In fact, so many of them we received for the generosity of so many people and businesses that some of them I actually had to set aside for some subsequent events. But so those of you who are winning tonight, I may also include just some extra surprise unannounced gifts. Certainly not a bottle of any more imbibements, because I don't think this group needs that, but I think you will be thoroughly delighted. So let's have one more. That's my imbibement. And I come from a people who know all about that. So let's have a last one. This will be sort of an easy one, I think, or semi-easy. And I think this will be another Lowell question. So Lowell, of course, we are kind of known for having famous people who were born here or at least come through here. Here's another person who was born here. And this time it's an actress. She spent a lot of time here, but there is a nice house that sort of has a plaque on it announcing that she was born here. She's like as an AAA plus list actress. Like, all right, who is the actress that I'm thinking of? So now
Betty Davis.
But you have to sort of read my.
No, it's Betty Davis's nemesis.
Who yelled out Betty Davis?
I did.
Who was I? Travis?
No.
Oh, Hassan.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry, Travis. I'll send you something else though. Just
I wasn't going to win without getting something about Lowell, right? I couldn't believe that I blanked on Lupine Street. I did know Betty Davis, so yeah.
Betty Davis, yes, indeed. And also, I want to say, I do want to so I'll just give a shout out to Travis also, who is direct from Baltimore. Travis has a great interview series called Horror Realm. And I'm not just saying it's great because me and a bunch of my friends have been on it, but Travis is a great host and also a supporter of Poe and Lowell, which we deeply appreciate. So thank you for joining us tonight, Travis. I'm so glad you could make it. And this is Travis's first time. So him and all the folks who are on here for the first time, can we give them a nice welcome?
Thanks for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I actually recently had Chad on my show. This week's episode. So
I was on Horror Realm this week. I saw it pop up like, hey, it's Travis.
Exactly. All right, excellent. All right, so Hassan Melehy wins. Davis is the famous actress born in Lowell. And she, apart from like being born here in Lowell, Betty Davis, she spent, I think, pretty much like 0 time here, but no matter. We have a plaque, and that's really all that's as far as that goes. That's all we care about. Now, for all you bear with me, because I want to make sure I'm keeping track of all the prize winners here tonight. The people who won fair and square, as we say. You think with a writer I could come up with a better. Chad is getting the t-shirt because he knows the nickname of Edgar Allan Poe's mother-in-law. All right. And Hassan, of course, is getting a book and some other prizes. Everybody's getting some other prizes along with the prizes that they actually won. Okay. For the Betty Davis plaque, and Manuel Perez is winning because he actually knew the person like not anywhere near closer to the equator than he is to Lowell, knew the name of Lupine Avenue. That's amazing. And we have, I think one more person. Bear with me, folks, because I don't want to leave anybody out of the winners. All right. That's not a right answer. Oh, Matt had to leave. Bye, Matt. Tony had to leave. Thank you for everybody who did have to leave. We appreciate your being here, and we know folks have to go. So I feel I'm missing one of the winners, folks, and I don't want that to happen. So we have Chad won. We have Juan won something. Hassan won. That's only 3. There's a winner that. Sorry.
Who won the Charles Dickens question?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you said you were going to pick a random.
That's right. Okay, that's why we have this nameless stranger in our midst. Okay.
You're going to pick a random. Okay.
Yes. I'm going to literally put the names in a bag and pick out a name. It has the same integrity as our electoral and I know it may seem a little random at times, but so that's what I'm going to do. And I know some folks have to go, and there are folks who have other, family needs and things to attend to. I want to say, first of all, thank you all so much for joining this evening in our reading. Thank you so much, the people who've actually been here year after year, making this a tradition, as well as folks who are new. And I truly mean what I say in that this is a wonderful sacred space that we all have created, and hearing the different constellation of voices reading the same poem I think Edgar Allan Poe himself lives in our hearts in part because he wrote poetry that people could read and share aloud, as well as in their chamber with a crazy bird or their kids playing video games in the background, Mortal Kombat, whatever. I look at Edgar Allan Poe as both a great literary master and a writer of the people. And as Billy Corrigan actually said in a documentary about the band Rush, when he was talking about why did they have such a big following, even though not all the critics liked them. And he said, well, Rush is a band elected by the people. And that's how I feel about Edgar Allan Poe. He was a poet and a writer elected by the people. So thank you again all so much for coming this evening. Safe travels wherever your travels may take you.
Travis is asked to make an announcement.
You were asked to make an announcement. All right, let's hear the announcement.
Like we did last year, the horror room for 2025 will be a sponsor of Poe and Lowell for 2025 as well.
Nice. Awesome.
Oh my freaking that we did not no checks passed hands before the filming. Thank you so much. You're amazing.
Awesome.
From my heart. Thank you so much. Travis was one of our great sponsors of Poe and Lowell. I already cried once today, folks. I'm going to wait till we're off screen for that, but thank you so much from my heart. And Poe and Lowell, for those who want to learn more, we're on Instagram at Poe and Lowell. We're on Facebook and also Linktree Poe in Lowell. And I'll just one last time drop in the chat for anybody who cares to make a donation. Again, this is a completely free will, free spirit thing. It helps to support the readers and also helps us to continue to celebrate Poe in all the ways that we can. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And I hope we'll see each other all soon in our travels. God bless you.
Thank you, Meg.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Peace
I
out.
appreciate it.
God
bless.
Gracias. Buenas noches.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting this together. Thank you, everyone. It was a real pleasure.
Bye.
Que Dios te
Have a good
bendiga.
evening,
God
everyone.
bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.